Hey there, it's Donnie from CAD Microsystems, and today I want to share with you a way we can more easily label curbs inside of Civil 3D. More specifically, how I might be able to label elevations for both my top of curb and my bottom of curb or flow line using a single Civil 3D label style. Now, how can we accomplish that, you might ask? Well, the answer to that question rests in the hands of something referred to as expressions inside of Civil 3D. And expressions will allow me to do all sorts of wild and crazy things, but for the purpose of this particular demonstration, it's going to give me an additional property that I can then add to a label style. So without any further ado, let's jump on in and see how this is actually accomplished. So first things first, what I'm going to do is over here inside of Toolspace, I'm going to switch over to my Settings tab. And this, of course, gives me access to all of the various styles and settings for Civil 3D. Since what we're referring to is something for a surface, I'm going to plus out my surface category here, come down to where it says Label Styles, expand that out, and finally come down to where it says Spot Elevations. This, of course, gives me a list of all of the spot elevation label styles inside of this drawing. But more importantly for my purposes is this final option that I have here, which is called expressions. What I want to do is to create a new expression for spot elevations. The way I'll accomplish that is to right-click on expressions and then choose new from the contextual menu that opens. Now, this will open up my new expression dialog box where, like pretty much everything inside of Civil 3D, my first step is to define a name for this. So I'm going to go ahead and add a name of elevation BC. This will stand for elevation bottom of curb. And to make it so folks will actually know what this expression is all about, I'll go ahead and give this a description as well. And so there's my description telling users just what this expression is doing. Now we need to make the expression actually do this. So to do that, we'll come down here to the expression text box, and we have a bunch of buttons down here that will let me configure this just the way I want. So first things first, I'm going to click on the properties button here, and this will give me all of the various properties that I can sort of query from this label style and use for the purpose of a calculation. So in my case, I'm going to use the surface elevation property here. And when I click that, it adds the code or the expression for that right here in the text box. Now, I know that my top of curb is going to be 6 inches higher than my bottom of curb using kind of a standard curb and gutter scenario here. So what I'm going to do is take the surface elevation and I am going to subtract 6 inches from it. So I'll just go ahead and use the minus key here, and I'll go ahead and put in 0.5, just like so, or 6 inches. So that's my expression. Just take whatever the elevation is and subtract 6 inches from it. Now, that is just about the last step that I need to do. But what I also want to do is format this in the appropriate sort of data format. And right now it's formatted as a double. That's not going to be the format that I want. Instead, I'm going to pick on this drop-down menu here and choose elevation from the list. And that's all there is to it. That is my expression that's going to calculate the bottom of curb for me. So what I'll go ahead and do is say, okay, that's going to save this expression in the drawing. And from here, I can come in and build a new spot elevation style. So I'll go ahead and call this spot elevation curb. And from here, we'll come over to the layout tab to go ahead and begin defining just what this label is. So we'll come down here to the text group under contents, pick on the ellipsis button here, and let's go ahead and type in TC for top of curb equals the surface elevation. We'll do foot 0.01, and then I'll hit enter and type in BC for bottom of curb is equal to, and if I pick the list here, one of the options that you'll see added to this list is elevation BC. Civil 3D is pulling that from the expression that I just created over here. So if I go ahead and pick on this, I can add it to my Civil 3D style, just like any other elevation label, just like so. So I'll go ahead and hit OK. That will give me my preview like you see here. We'll go ahead and accept that and say OK. And my Civil 3D style is now created. What we can do now is come over to the Annotate tab under Add Labels, we'll go ahead and bring up the Add Surface Labels dialog here and go ahead and add one of these spot elevation labels, the spot elevation curb right here. I'll go ahead and choose Add. And when I pick that into the drawing, you'll see that Civil 3D has added it with the top of curb elevation at 81 and the bottom of curb elevation at 80.5, 6 inches lower. And wherever I pick, it's going to perform that calculation for me. So there you have it, just a quick tip of an example of how I might use expressions inside of Civil 3D. If you found this video valuable, give us a big thumbs up down below. And of course, be sure to subscribe to our video channel over on YouTube. For CAD Microsystems, I'm Donnie Gladfelter. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.